Hello everyone, this is Warhawk Beyond 2040 and welcome to another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. And today I'm going to be taking a look at a brand new 2023 release from perhaps the greatest guitar player of all time and one of the most celebrated, decorated, respected and iconic figures in the history of music. And he is in my Jazz Mount Rushmore with Keith Jarrett, Chick Corea and Miles Davis. And in my opinion, he is our modern living Mozart, and he has seen it all and done it all. And he is a gentleman who needs no introduction whatsoever. I am talking about, of course, the one and only legendary guitarist, Grammy Award winner, composer, arranger, and band leader, Pat Metheny. And this is his newest album for modern recordings, Dream Box. So, Dream Box is Pat Metheny's fifth solo guitar album, and this is a little bit of a different kind of solo guitar recording that we have seen from Pat Metheny. Whereas in the past, Pat Metheny concentrated more on solo acoustic performance, this features Pat Metheny in a very different kind of situation. This features Pat Metheny in solo electric guitar performance, not unlike Zero Tolerance for Silence, which was full on wildness. This is a lot more on the quiet and laid back side of things. So, as I said, this features Pat Metheny on electric guitar and baritone guitar, but it's not what you would call solo acoustic. This is pretty much like solo electric. Think of this album as One Quiet Night Part 2, but on electric guitar. And for me, this is an album that I've been wanting to hear from Pat Metheny for a very long time, and I've been wanting to see Pat Metheny more in the solo guitar performance for quite some time because, as much as I love the trios, the Pat Metheny group, of course, is legendary, the Unity projects and his collaborations. For me, there is no better listening experience than Pat Metheny in solo guitar performance. It does not get any better than this. And for me, this could very well be album of 2023 because it's so good, very laid back, very different, and a much more calmer, quieter side to Pat Metheny's guitar playing. And for me, it's a lovely album. This is something you probably would have heard on ECM because it's so laid back, but at the same time, a great listening experience for fans of Pat Metheny and fans of solo guitar performance. And after listening to Dreambox several times already, this for me is quickly becoming one of my favourite albums from Pat Metheny so far. And for me, it's kind of like a continuation of One Quiet Night and What's It All About, but in a much more different direction. Whereas those two recordings concentrated more on solo acoustic performance, as I mentioned already, Dreambox concentrates more on solo electric guitar, but in a much more freer and laid back kind of setting. And for me, Pat Metheny always delivers top notch quality music, and he's come through once again with another fantastic album. And for me, I already put this as one of Pat Metheny's best albums to date. It's really good and very enjoyable. So let's have a look. So Dreambox was put together during an extensive touring period in 2022, and this album is made up of new tunes and old tunes and a standard from quick recordings that Pat Metheny done. So Pat Metheny recorded a series of unused tracks and it was just more or less kind of forgotten. So this album, although it is new material, it's pretty much like unused tracks that Pat Metheny made and just kind of just left on the side really. So this is, as I mentioned, an album that I've been wanting to hear from Pat Metheny for quite a long time, and it was definitely worth the wait. So the album is made up of 9 tracks. All of the tracks are written and composed by Pat Metheny, with the exception of 2 standards. And as you'd expect, it's absolutely a lovely album. Nothing but the absolute best from Pat Metheny. So there is all of the credits, and we got here sleeve notes about how the album was put together, and there's a little bit on the other side about how this album was put together. And Pat Metheny explains here that the method of this recording began with a track called Unity Village, which was on Pat Metheny's first album called Bright Size Life. And he pretty much explains here that the initial harmonic part laid down with the chords followed by a second track of melodic and improvisational material. So what Pat Metheny is explaining here is that on some tracks it's more or less got like two guitars overdubbed. So it's a solo track, but two guitars overdubbed. So it's kind of what you got here with Dream Box, but a whole album, so to speak. But it's really, really good. And as I said, you know, Pat Metheny always delivers the best ever. So tracks we've got here are The Waves Are Not the Ocean, which is a really good opener and lovely track. From the Mountains, which is the longest track at 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Another great track. Ole and Guard, for me, one of the best tracks of the whole album. Really, really good. Trust Your Angels, another great track. Never Was Love by Russ Long, absolutely gorgeous. I Fall in Love Too Easily by Stein and Kahn, another great track. PC of Belgium. Now, for those of you who probably know what PC stands for, and Belgium, that's of course dedicated to the legendary Flip Catherine, who, as we all know, played with the legendary rock band Focus in the past. So this track is dedicated to the iconic guitarist Flip Catherine, who is from Belgium. And we've also got Morning of the Carnival by Bonifat and Maria, another great track. And the closer, Clouds Can't Change the Sky. Every track from start to finish is absolutely beautiful. Unbelievable playing from Pat Metheny, who plays electric guitar and baritone guitar. And there's one or two tracks where the guitars are overdubbed. So it's really, really good stuff here. And as I said, this album, unless something else comes out and changes my mind, which I don't think it's going to, this for me is album of 2023. It's really good, long overdue and highly anticipated for me, and as I said, definitely worth the wait. Standout tracks for me are Ole and Guard, The Waves Are Not the Ocean, From the Mountains, and Clouds Can't Change the Sky. But the whole album is just brilliant from start to finish, and as I said, it's very laid back, little bit different for Pat Metheny. You know, as I said, he's done more solo acoustic albums in the past, but for me, this is once again getting a treat to see another side of Pat Metheny, who continues to constantly push the bar and reinvent himself time and time again. And he's come through and delivered, as always, another top-notch album. So there you have it, Dreambox. Perhaps Pat Metheny's best album to date, and well worth the wait. And if you're a fan of Pat Metheny and you like solo guitar, this is the one for you. It's unbelievable and really, really good. So that's going to be it from me. I'm going to wrap this up now. What's your favourite track from Pat Metheny Dream Box? Is it The Waves Are Not the Ocean, From the Mountains, Ole and Guard, Trust Your Angels, Never Was Love, I Fall in Love Too Easily, PC of Belgium, Morning of the Carnival, Clouds Can't Change the Sky, or do you enjoy the entire album from start to finish? There's no right or wrong answer. We all have our favourite tracks. You know what to do, guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave your thoughts and comments down below, and I will see all of you next time for another edition of the Jazz Albums Review Series. So until then, take care, everybody, and stay safe. And once again, as always, much appreciated. Thanks for listening.